without further ado, let us go to the one and only Robert Whittaker, who's always very kind to join us from his usual spot here early in the morning over there in Sydney. Robert, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Thanks for having me on again.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I feel like you upgraded the chair. Is that a new chair? It's looking very spiffy.
I don't think so. To be honest, I've been trying to work out the light because my face is glowing.
Oh, no.
So I couldn't work that out. So I'm just going to have to look very divine.
You look great because I know it's summertime over there in Sydney, so you probably do have a tan, right?
No, I don't because it's been very wet this year. It's been raining the entire time. But it's too hot to go outside. I'm not much of an outdoor cat.
You're not? Okay. Hot. And what about that picture, that thing behind you on the right side of your what is that? Is that you?
It's just to increase any sort of video interview I do. Multiplicative.
Yes.
What's better than one of me is two.
That's right.
Of me.
That's right. Okay.
I slide it in there.
I also, I'm not a big gamer. We've talked a bit about your gaming prowess. Have you been added to some game recently or something? I forget the name now. I'm going to botch this. What's the name, guys? You were added to something. It was big news everywhere. Skyrim or something?
Skyrim. There was a creator mod that came out with me in it as an NPC, as a companion that can follow you around, and I go around punching things.
Wow.
It was great. It was trippy.
They made this on your behalf?
Yeah, so some of the modders created this with the backing of Bethesda, and they made it happen. And honestly, as a gamer and as a guy who spent so much time in that game, in Skyrim, to be an NPC, to be a part of it is, it's a milestone for sure.
That's a huge honor.
Game history. Yeah, massive.
And have you played as yourself in the game?
No, so it's like a...
I'm totally exposing myself, right? I have no idea what I'm talking about here, but it's very cool.
It's unbelievable. So it's like a friend of yours that can follow you around.
Okay, interesting. Because if you're lacking, friendship in real life, you need this fictitious character to follow you around and give
That's
you some...
it.
A lot going on in your life, of course. We've got the title fight. We shall talk about that in a second. That's a strong flex mug, by the way. King Dad, very strong. Right in my face. I mean, as a dad, to have another dad pick up a mug and say "King Dad" in my face feels like fighting words.
I'm sure you have one.
I have a variation of that. Yes, I do. By the way, congratulations to you and the entire team on this gym that you guys opened up. I saw some of the footage, and we're going to show some of it right here. You won't be able to see it, but the audience will. This gym is incredible, Robert. Can you tell us about it? Where is it?
Yeah.
Well, and tell us the whole detail. How big is it?
Given the exact specs of it is too hard for me, but you can see from the picture it is absolutely massive. It's around the corner from our last gym.
Okay.
Meeting Grange, Dunn Road. So it is unbelievable to have that amount of space, to be able to camp in there and do our things and have heaps of mat space, so many partners rolling at the same time. It's it's a treat, it's a privilege. And as a team, we've all been working towards it. And I feel like, it's our reward, something that we've given ourselves, working hard all these years to get there.
It's beautiful. Congratulations. And I know, it's been tricky at times training in Australia. What has it been like for this training camp? Has it been tough with the restrictions or relatively easy?
Well, I'll say no tougher than anybody else.
Okay.
I think everybody's in the same boat, unfortunately. One of the things is earlier in the year, we had the lockdown situation with we had a hard lockdown again. So juggling that and trying to work in the training with the isolation times, with having a close-knit crew that could work with us. And it was a little juggling. Luckily we had the experience from the first lockdown to fall back on. And then we managed to get an exemption, which just allowed us to kind of operate as usual.
Okay.
But, I think it's something that everybody's kind of getting used to now, because this, unfortunately, is something we're going to have to live with, I think, for the next few years.
Yeah.
And we've all kind of got to adapt.
I saw a video of you sort of training with your young son. Is that at home? Is that you doing the home workouts as well?
Yeah. It's...
You're doing the sprawls and stuff, and he's trying to emulate you or something.
Yeah, that was actually a throwback. I forget what that was.
Oh.
But that was like coming into Fire Week when I was staying away from the gym, and I was kind of, getting in some last minute cardio work before I leave.
Is it a bummer for you that this isn't happening in Australia, or is it a blessing that it's not happening in Australia?
That's a tricky one, because it's there's two sides of it. There's the one side where it's in Australia, so my friends and family can be a part of that. I can make them a part of it. I don't have to leave anywhere. My family can probably come down, drive to the state it's in, or if it's here, we can hang out the whole time. And it's much more comfortable and close, and special in that regard. And then there's the other side of it that's like, man, not fighting in Australia, there's no pressure. Well, there is pressure, but not as much pressure. Your family, there isn't the pressure of your family coming down. You don't get 400 messages saying, I'm coming, I'll see you there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a bit of a trade-off. I'm excited to go to Houston. I've never been. I always enjoy these fight trips overseas, because you just go over there, you zone out, you settle into your fight week routine, you do your work, you come home, and it's kind of, it's a good way to empty out all the process, empty out all everything else that's in your head, and just focus singularity on one thing.
When you consider how big of a deal that was, the highest attended event in UFC history, that event was at Marvel Stadium, and you think, okay, now you guys have come a long way. Izzy's bigger, you're on this winning streak. This could have done equal, if not bigger numbers. Does a part of you lament the fact that it's not happening in the stadium, or do you not even really care about any of that stuff?
Yeah, I don't really care too much about that sort of stuff. Everything, all my thoughts are just focusing on trying to beat this guy. That's it, trying to get this win.
I saw you said to Farah Hanoun of MMA Junkie, you said that your ego got the best of you in the first fight. What did you mean by that?
I love how that's what's blowing up everyone.
That is blowing up.
That's what everybody took from the interviews, and they're just asking the same questions.
Oh no, why? I'm trying to understand, because you don't have an ego, in my opinion. You're the most soft-spoken, humble guy, and so when I think, if I may, why people are attached to that is Robert Whittaker ego have never gone hand in hand. And so to hear someone, and it's a different kind of ego, right? As a sportsman, when you let your ego get the best of you, maybe you don't, think that your opponent is good enough. Who knows? But I think that's why it stood out so much, because you don't come across as someone who has an ego in any, of course you think you're the best and all that, but that where it would, hinder your performance.
You see, I think everybody has an ego. Everybody in some aspect, at some angle in their life, has an ego, whether it be a guy who doesn't do sports at all and just plays video games, and he plays his particular video game, let it be Tetris, and that's all he plays all day. And then you get someone that comes in and says, I play Tetris too. 2,000,000% that guy's going to be like, yeah, but I'm probably better. You know what I mean? And that's ego, and it's not bad. I think, especially for fighters, I think fighters need a little ego just to do what they need to do, to believe themselves, to back themselves. Because I think the line of ego and confidence, there's a fine line, you know what I mean? So I don't mean ego, and I think everybody knows this anyway. I don't mean ego in a way of I thought I was the best and I was untouchable, and that sort of dynamic. It was more that I was letting everything get to me, and my ego was adding as a multiplier. So I was like, why is everybody giving this guy so much attention? Why is everybody creating this much rivalry between us? Why is New Zealand and Australia clashing so hard when I've done nothing but represent them both? And I think that played into my ego, because I thought I understood where I was, who I was. And it all kind of just multiplied to the point where it got into my head. And a big part of it is I got into my own head. And my thought processes in that fight, leading up to that fight, weren't calculated and cool and calm and collected. They were just red, and you can see how out of the ordinary I fought, how reckless, if you would, I fought. And I guess that's the biggest regret I have in that fight, is just I wish I fought like myself. I'm not satisfied with that.
I appreciate the candid response. You don't often get that from fighters, so thank you very much for that. Are you able to watch that fight, or because it was so completely not you and all that effect, Would you rather even not?
So I personally don't watch my fights often.
Okay. Even the wins?
Even the wins.
Wow.
Maybe once if my old man is like watching it and I'm in the room, but otherwise then, I don't really watch them. I don't know. I know what happens.
Right.
And I guess I've seen highlights and stuff of my fight with Izzy. I haven't watched the full thing. I've watched clips my coaches want me to have a look at so that I understand what's happening on. But I think a lot in the moment. You know what I mean? So I know when I've messed up. I know when I've done something wrong, and I reflect on that almost instantly. And I guess it's kind of like a gift I have.
Would it have gnawed at you if you never got this chance to fight him again, belt or no belt? I'm assuming you want to prove that you are better than him. Would it have really bothered you if this opportunity never came again?
Yeah, not really. Like, after that loss, I kind of, I've spoken to you about it a ton of times. It's like I went through that, reinventing stage of soul searching and everything to do with myself. And I came back just comfortable with who I am and why I do things, and absolutely confident in why I'm doing things and why I fight. So my whole process, my goal was just to train my butt off and get back in that octagon and train and fight and just enjoy it again. Enjoy the fighting, earn a living, provide for my family. Modern day gladiator sort of lifestyle headspace. And I knew. Like that all roads lead to Rome sort of thing. Like you win enough fights, you end up fighting for the title. And that's been my process, my mind, my headspace, ever since I started my career. So getting that fight, it was inevitable if I kept winning.
What did you think of his last performance? It was also quite a while ago. It was back in June against Marvin Vettori again. What did you think of it?
I thought it was a good performance. He's a good fighter. And I'll props when they're due. Like, he's a good fighter. He's a great fighter. I think he fights really smart and tactically. And you see that's a good skill set to have. I think that's a massively underrated thing, especially at the top of the ladder, is doing what you need to do to win, whether it be exciting or not, or for the crowd or not. It's and that's a hard thing to do for a lot of guys because that whole ego thing, right? Mm-hmm. So you can see he'll do what he needs to do to win. And, that's a great trait to have as a fighter. But I guess the overarching feeling of that fight was just I can beat him. I can beat him. Marvin was landing strikes on him, and I'm better at striking than Marvin. And like Marvin was landing takedowns, and I think my timing's better for takedowns than Marvin. I think I can beat him. He just looked beatable. There were some fights he's had where he just looked untouchable, like that Costa fight. He looked unbelievable there. But then he fought Marvin, and I just thought he can be beaten. It's not to say it's going to be easy or that I will beat him. It's just that it's a good fight, but I think he's beatable. Jan is direct evidence towards that.
Mm-hmm. Has it been frustrating for you that it's taken so long for this fight to happen? Your last fight was in April. It'll be almost a year, and you weren't injured or anything. It'll be almost a year between fights for you. And I think there was some talk of maybe November, and then his situation, and then they obviously settled on February. But for you to sit, he last fought in June, you last fought in April. Has it been frustrating to wait?
Yeah, a little. It's one of those things that like it can't be helped because I do know the lockdown situation in New Zealand was kind of crazy at the time. Mm-hmm. Like guys getting taken out of the country and not being able to get back in if they could get out in the first place. Mm-hmm. And so I do understand that. I'm always cup half full sort of guy, looking at the benefits of not having to do it. It was, what was frustrating more than anything was that like, so after my last fight, I was preparing for October just in case, didn't hear anything, and then all of a sudden they're like, bum, you're in October. So I was preparing for that. Then, November and then December and then January, and it just kept getting pushed back. So I was always kind of holding back on what I wanted to do, like not taking the family away, not going to certain events, not not having weekend bevies. Like I was doing the right things, and that kind of kept getting pushed back until we got the date locked in at February. But I guess that's the only annoying thing, if you would. But in saying that, at the same time, I was opening up the gym, which was great. Spending lots of time with my family because we had another lockdown series, so the kids were home from school again, and playing tons of video games.
What about any nerves about them going a different direction? Because we talked about this after the Gaslam fight, like they were kind of slow to commit to you being the next guy. And then I think they came to you with that June date and it didn't work for you. Were you ever worried as time went on that they would take this opportunity away from you?
No, not really, because I didn't care too much, right? Like I told you my process, my headspace getting back into the game after the loss was just, I'm enjoying fighting. I'm enjoying the process. I'm enjoying learning. Like, this is what I do. Like, this is my career. This is how I earn a living, and I love doing it. So I wasn't too worried because two things. One, I can't control it. Okay, I couldn't fight then. I had just fought Gaslam, so I couldn't control then. And two, like, there really isn't many options for him, and it takes a piss a little bit. Like they wouldn't, the fans wouldn't be happy, the crowd wouldn't be happy. It just looked silly on their half, you know. I do know, like, Izzy's team, they like playing that sort of head game space and annoying people like that just for the attention. So, how
do you feel about Izzy? You're gonna see this man in the press conferences, and he's very entertaining, and he's a showman, and he talks great trash. How do you feel about him, and are you ready for all of that again?
Well, you know, funny enough is, like, I think I said this last time we were speaking, is that I got in my own head so much, and I had so much grudge, you know, towards him and gripe that I wore myself out. You know what I mean? Like, I had so much anger and hate that I wore myself out. It got tiring being angry at him, like. And for no real reason, you know, it's not like he came to my house and stole my TV.
Yeah.
So, I got over it. And honestly, once I let that go, I started seeing him like everybody else. I don't hate the guy anymore. You know, if anything, like, I respect his skill sets. I respect him just doing his thing, like. And that's the thing. Like, whilst I think his behaviour's a little, how you going sometimes, he's staying true to it. Like, he's just doing, he's still doing it. It's not like he's doing it, like, he's just him. He's still doing it. So, yeah, I guess that's the answer. You know, long answer, but it's like, I don't hate the guy.
Okay. And by the way, did someone help you let go of that hatred, or is that just a process that you figured out on your own?
Yeah, that's a process. Like, after the first loss, I had a big chunk of soul searching and trying to understand myself in my own headspace, and that kind of set the foundation up for everything else that I can do. So it's like I get in my own head a lot and try to dissect things to try and make my life easier. Ever since that first loss, like, because I find if you focus on these little, you know, obstacles or why you're feeling like this, generally you can make it better, and then it makes the whole process easier.
Do you miss being a champion? Is that part of the motivation here? Because I feel like you don't.
No, not really. I never really banked much. I never really banked much into it. Like, I miss the better paydays. Like,
yes.
like that's about the only thing I miss from it, though. Other than that, not much. Because I think it was a real thing for me was, like, I really enjoyed the chase, like the work up the ladder. Like, and I know there's that whole psychology of guys who get to the top and then find themselves aimless, right? Because they, I don't know if I suffer from that, but I certainly. It was a certain thing that once I got there, I didn't have the same sort of fire in me. You know, my goals kind of got shifted, and I don't think I made the adjustment before I fought Izzy.
That is
I didn't even do
fascinating.
a lot of it.
Yeah. That is
But I enjoyed the chase. Like I enjoyed the progression, if you would.
the journey, if you will.
Yeah, like I liked beating 6 and then moving up to 5.
Yeah,
I liked beating 3 and then moving up to 2. I don't know, that made me happy.
I could see that. I could totally see that. A very common thing. Last month, you were on the set of Fox Sports's Fight Week. That's their show. They do the coverage over there in Australia. You were with Alex Volkanovski, and you guys were supposed to interview Kai France. And it was a great scene. If anyone could find this clip online, it's again, what I like so much about you, you're brutally honest. And you're like, yo, I'm not going to ask this guy a question because I don't want to be fake and be fake interested in his upcoming fight against Cody Garbrandt. And I don't want him to be fake polite to me. So I'm just going to sit this one out because I know he's Izzy's boy. And then at the end of it, you're like, I kind of like that dude, even though you didn't. How awkward was that whole scenario for you? Like where you have to kind of play analyst, but it's like, yo, this is the buddy of the guy I'm about to fight. We've got this thing. Was it strange for you?
Well, no, it would have been strange if I did the interview.
Yeah.
Because I can't operate like that. I can't put on a fake smile. Exactly as you said. I can't be fake polite to you, and you can't. I don't want you being fake polite to me because that's awkward.
Yes,
it's not real. You know, I'd rather let the other co-hosts ask the questions so that this isn't. And it's his fight week.
Yeah,
like I don't want to disturb him for even half a second because it's his fight week, and I respect that. But then, listen to him speak. It was weird me sitting in the corner.
Yeah, I know. That's right. Like, yeah, I bet.
Like, I wish they would have let me off set for this one, but
yeah.
I just sat there broody. But by listening to him speak and everything, like I grew to like the guy. Like he's just a normal guy, and he sounded like down to earth. He took his family to the fight, and that just won my heart over straight away because I'm a big family man, So to be able to see that and I guess that's a big thing. I can be persuaded. I will change my mind if I get convinced it. And I think he's an all right guy.
You taking your family to this fight?
Definitely not.
No.
I said all that family stuff, but no, four kids on a 16-hour flight.
Damn.
Hell no! Like no way.
I can't imagine. I've always said I have 3 kids. 3 to 4, big jump. 2 to 3, not a big jump. I think 3 to 4 is a massive jump. The cars are different. You got to do different. Do you feel the same? 3 to 4, big jump? I mean, I'm not speaking from experience because I don't have 4, but I feel like that's the biggest of all the jumps.
Well, sort of. I think the biggest jump is 2 to 3.
Interesting. Okay.
Because especially if they're all young, because you're outnumbered. You only got 2 sets of hands. You got yours and your wives, and then there's one, if the third one's screaming, like you're trying to play with her with your foot.
Yeah. Oh
you know what I mean? So with 4, the most annoying thing is the car situation because you need to start looking at 7-seaters.
Yes,
and
it's tough.
The range, the type of cars you get for 7-seaters aren't the nicest of cars.
Right.
Economy, family, sort of things, and then juggling the baby seats if one's in a capsule and then one's in a thing. It's a bit of a nightmare getting them in and out. But otherwise, I think 2 to 3 is way, way, way worse.
What about training for a fight during Christmas?
Oh, that's no fun.
How was yours?
It was fine. It was fine. Like, they're the sacrifices. Everyone talks about sacrifices of fighting. That's what it is. I've been blessed enough that I haven't had to camp and train during a fight during Christmas and New Year's for a long time. So, I got it done. It is what it is. It's over now. It was annoying at the time.
Yeah, I bet.
Christmas hand come out and all the gravy and man,
you ate none of it?
Love that sort of stuff. Oh, I had a little ham, but
okay.
You know what I mean? But also I would have liked some beers, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, or throwing a bit of a get together. It would have been fun, but it is what it is. Got to make these sacrifices.
By the way, you and Volk cool? Well, it was also kind of strange to see you guys sitting next to each other because he's his boy too. What was that like for you?
No, we're cool. I guess I don't know. It might have been a bit different when we first started working together, but we've worked together for a while now. And another thing is I've known Volk for a long time.
Okay.
Way back in the local circuit. Before he started working with City Kickboxing. So whilst they're all friends, it's kind of like a thing we skirt around.
Yeah.
Like I don't go, hey, how's Izzy's team?
Yeah.
And things like that. If I'm when we talk, I'm just interested in him, and he trains a lot in Australia anyway.
Yeah, freestyle.
So we're cool. We're cool.
Okay, so when are you the visual type? Like when you visualize February 12th, how's it going down? Are you that kind?
Nah, I don't really visualize it. I have a rough idea in my head. I visualize it a little bit. I'm not one of those dudes that pulls up in the lotus position and starts playing through the fight step by step. You know what I mean? But
what is the plan that you see in your head? Can you share that?
Yeah. Okay. Here it is.
Yeah.
I think Jan set the blueprint up to beat Izzy quite thoroughly. I think if we're looking at it, patience, striking, and takedowns with opportunity. Okay, I think those three things are what leads you to beat someone like Israel. You got to avoid getting hit by his big counter striking punches and his big levers. You take him down when you can to make him uncomfortable, to slow his arms and legs down. And you got to be patient because if you rush in, you get hit right in the face. Okay, but in saying that, you have to change the game plan Jan went in to account for Jan's pros and special traits that are unique to him, such as his Polish power and Polish head.
Yes, that is true. His size as well. He was bigger, right? Easier to keep him on the ground. Yeah, right.
And the fact that it was at 190. What is it? 194?
It was 205, but he came in a little light. Yeah.
The fact that it was at that, he's not as fast as he is when he's at middleweight. He's not as fast. His gas tank isn't as big. And, the dynamic changes the fight. So what you do is you take away what you can from that fight and you try to, and I've tried to incorporate it into my own plan, utilizing my own traits, adding some different things, like adding the way I strike in. As you've seen in my last fights, I've been trying to mix in the takedowns and as much as I can when I see them, opportunity sort of thing. And that's the plan. I want to utilize my full skill set in this next fight and make him uncomfortable. I don't think it was a secret. There was no secret, and that's it. I just want to get in there and just, make him uncomfortable, utilizing my full skill set.
You say you don't watch your fights. Do you watch other people's? In other words, have you watched that Jan Izzy fight a lot in preparation for this fight?
No, I don't watch back fights a lot.
Okay.
But I did watch that fight live.
So, okay. Just once?
Yeah.
Damn. Do your coaches watch the fights?
Yeah.
Over and over again?
My coaches religiously. They might have watched my fight with Izzy 2,000 times by now.
Wow.
And then they come to training and they tell me what I need to do and then I'll work on it. But I don't watch back fights a lot.
That's amazing. And by the way, Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm not a big tape guy. I never have been.
Respect. It's amazing. I remember Cerrone telling me that many years ago, and it kind of blew my mind because you'd think you want to watch and dissect what you did to get nuances, but you clearly know way more than I do. Last thing before I let you go, what are you doing? What do you do on the plane? What are you watching on the plane? How are you passing time? It's a long flight. What are you going to do?
So I'll try and find a good book.
Okay.
Before I leave. The worst thing is trying to find a good book before you leave, not being able to find one, and then trying to read old books on your Kindle in the plane. That is the worst thing. I can't stand that. But that if I'm into a game that can be played offline, I'll set up my laptop.
Okay.
I have the laptop there, and I'll just. So yeah, that's more or less it. I'll either read or play video games.
You're not a movie guy, TV show guy.
No, not really. I like a bit of anime, but it's hard to find.
Damn. All right.
New ones and stuff like that.
And what kind of books are we looking for? Anything or?
I like fantasy sort of things. So a big surprise.
Yeah.
So I like fantasy, apocalyptic sort of things.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone is listening, are you looking for a book or did you find your book? Maybe some people can send you some suggestions.
Yeah, no, I'm looking for a book, but I've seen, I have read a lot of.
Maybe there's one. Now your ego's getting the best of you again, Rob. Maybe there's one that you haven't read.
Mate, it's not. I know there's a book out there that I haven't read, but it's just going to be an obscure title that nobody has heard of.
Maybe it's good. Maybe your fans know you. Maybe they think that you'll like this.
I've read a lot of they're going to drop AAA titles on me, and I've read them all.
Wow. So what are you going to do? Just not read then? You're done?
No, I just keep surfing Amazon Prime until I stumble upon a nugget of gold.
All right. So I guess you don't want the suggestion. I was just trying to help you out. Maybe someone.
No. Please give me your suggestion. I just feel like we're wasting time.
All right. Fine. Fair enough. I like the shirt, by the way.
My ego is getting.
Yeah. See, there it is.
He's getting the best.
You're very hard-headed. I mean. Your wife told me this as well. You're very hard-headed. It's very hard to convince me. No, I did not talk to your wife before this. Shout out to Titus, your manager. By the way, your shirt is cool. Is that a new logo?
It is not. This is my logo, my brand, and
I like it.
This is our classic, the classic Reaper logo, classic Reaper shirt. Mate.
Yeah, and don't think I didn't see you selling those Bobby Knuckles shirts too. Hesitant to fully embrace it as far as Buffer is concerned, but you're still selling it, which is smart. I think it's a smart move.
Yeah, well, Reaper is my name.
Yeah.
Bobby Knuckles is the people's name.
That's that's a good one. That's a great answer there, Robert. That is a great answer. I can't wait for it. February 12th. You're always very kind to join us in the morning. I always have to mention that. I hear the kids in the background. I know 8 a.m. is not an easy time with the young ones. So thank you very much, my friend. Good luck in the final month of training. Good luck on the 12th of February in Houston. And I hope the fight goes great. I can't wait for it. It's one of my most anticipated fights of the year. So I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you.
It's always good to be on. Thank you for having me again, mate.
Talk to you soon. There he is, the one and only Robert Whittaker, a.k.a. The Reaper, a.k.a. Bobby Knuckles. How could you not like Robert Whittaker?